Hello, this tutorial is to serve as an instructional video on how to use Google Maps and Fusion tables. First, we want to import our document that has the database with all of our information from the NCCHCA. Once we have this document on Google Drive, it'll be a lot easier to access it and provide it to the other applications that we need. Once you have it imported, you can right-click, go to More, and your Fusion tables won't originally show up. If you'd like to add it, go to Connect More Apps, search for Fusion, and then connect. Once you've connected, you should be able to now create a new Fusion table. Now, once we're at this screen, we can just click on Google Spreadsheets and locate the spreadsheet that we intend to use. Then we go ahead and hit Next. And let's go ahead and name. As you can see that we already have the points jotted on the map, the locational data is already added. If we wanted to show this as a heat map, we can go over here to our heat map drop down and simply select it. For now, we're going to switch back to features. Let's say, as the example in the email, we want to display all the locations with dental. So we're going to go back to our map, go to Filter, and go down to Dental. We'll want to make sure that this language is universal across the entire Excel spreadsheet, but for now, we can just go ahead and select the ones that say yes. And here we have all of our locations. Now, if we wanted to make this data accessible to our clients, we can then go up to File and say Download. You want to select the KML file. We can then go back to Once we're back to our Google Drive, simply right-click, go to More, and go to Google My Maps. Once we have this display, we can go up here and say Import. Upload our KML file. And here's all of our locations. We can say Uniform Style, and then simply click on the paint bucket. From here we can select any style that we want. If we wanted to change these by region, say Individual Styles, we can add labels if we'd like. And then we can click each individual paintbrush to change the different location. This comes in really handy if we've created our own icons. You can scroll to the bottom and see the custom icons that you've uploaded. You can also click the custom icon button and drag and drop or upload an image from your computer with the icon that you desire. We're then going to rename this to Dental Sites. Let's try to add another layer. Let's go back to our Fusion table, remove the filter, and let's try filtering by OBGYN. Let's say that we want to show the sites and services that provide some GYN services. Here they are displayed on our map. Once again, if we want to export this, all we have to do is go up to File, Download, KML, and then go back to our map, Add Layer, Import, and here's all of our new locations. I'm going to switch to a uniform style. Once we continue to import the different selections that we want, we can quickly turn these on and off and populate these maps. Now let's talk about embedding these maps. In order to embed the map, we have to first share it as a public map. This should be okay with the data that we've represented here because we've selected what we actually want to share. We can click our share icon and we can say public on the web. Once we do that, we can then go down and say embed on my site. This will now give us our own embeddable code that we can add to our website. The great thing about these maps is that when you click on the links, they should be able to locate and then also click where they would like to drive to and get the directions that they need, but also find the data that they need as well about opening hours and what services they provide. Next, let's talk about the data that is displayed. Say that when we click on a point, we don't want them to have to see the site name, and we also don't want them to have the locational data. We can go back to our Fusion table, switch back to our map, and in here we can go to the Change Info window. Here's where we can select what they actually see. We can add other services that we'd like to display. And then this information will be populated on the map. This will be really important if all these fields are filled in on the Excel spreadsheet. That way we can display the same information throughout. Here's a good example of what will happen if an image is taken down. The images that are currently embedded into the data sheet are using HTTP links to a certain image online. These images, unless hosted by you, can go down occasionally. So we need to locate this service. To replace the images that are missing, we can go over to our rows, and locate the image that's missing. To update or change this information, we simply have to go to the Edit row, and here is the image that it's pulling. If we need a new one, let's go find one. This looks good. Right-click on the image and say Copy Image Address. Then let's go back to our table and simply replace the image in here. For the rows that contain information that we'd like to make clickable, for example, the site name versus the name, we can go to the name here, click the drop down, and hit change. We can then turn the type into a link. This will search the document to try to find any type of locational information such as the HTTP here, and it'll provide it as a clickable resource for the user. Any changes that you make to your Excel spreadsheet inside of Fusion Tables needs to be exported and updated inside Google Maps. So now that we've updated those images, and we still have our OBGYN data provided, we can export this map. Let's go ahead and delete the one that we're replacing. Say add layer. Import. And now our new data should be displayed. In this tutorial, let's look at creating a border for the states that we're trying to indicate. We can head over to our census.gov to actually get this information that we need. If we go down here to state, we can download this information. Now, I'm not entirely sure about the resolution level, but I'm going to go ahead and select this one because I've tested it and I know it works. So let's go ahead and save and download. Once the file is downloaded, we're going to extract the file, and here we have our KML data. You can then go back to our maps and say add layer. Import. And let's grab our KML file. And outline them across the map. In order to get just North Carolina showing, we have to actually go inside the data, say open data table, and we have to actually manually delete each row of each state. It can take a little while, but the end result looks something like this. Now we only have this location highlighted, and we can actually adjust this and play with how we wanted to represent it. One issue you will also run into is if you use this information provided. Let's go back to our other data. You may notice that it has all of this information provided along with it. Once you've deleted out all the states, you can actually just go in here and click the edit mode and just uncheck each one of these boxes. Sadly, this will still make a clickable object, so when we go to our preview mode, someone who's trying to click something can still click North Carolina. But it'll simply just tell them that it's North Carolina that they're clicking. An example of this will look like so that if they're searching for a location, when they click this, it'll simply just say North Carolina. That shouldn't be too confusing for our clients. Let's look at displaying results filtered to a specific category. Let's head back over to our Fusion table, and here we can select a filter where we want to look at behavioral health. Say yes. But let's also filter by county. Here you can get the very specific data that you want to display. But also, if we added another column where we talked about disparities, or if we talked about populations not being served inside of our Excel spreadsheet, we could then turn this into a heat map and show the regions that are not properly equipped. We can continue to add different counties to where they begin to stack on each other. That way in the future, if we're trying to share a map specifically with Alamance County, showing their locations, we can now export this data so that they can use it on their website. Another way to frame this image is by going up here and select Default View. Then, when we embed to our website, it will only show this small region. This could help a lot of our smaller clinics be able to display quickly where their location information is if they have a website. This concludes our training video on how to use Google Fusion Tables and Google Maps. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at jhaskin@ncsu.edu, and I'll be happy to add any additional videos to the tutorial or answer any questions you may have. Thank you for watching.